Prior to 1984, the only sport the city of Indianapolis had anything to cheer about was auto racing. But last weekend, when the starting flag was dropped in the Hoosier Dome, the Colts quickly had the fans on their feet. Curtis Dickey's halfback pass to Tracy Porter, number 87, helped Indianapolis surge to a 17-14 halftime lead. The Colts engines were running hot, and returner Phil Smith took a second-half Cardinal kickoff, put it in overdrive, then proceeded to lap the field. Smith raced 96 yards for a touchdown without suffering so much as a scratch. However, he was nearly killed in an end zone celebration that resembled a 20-car pileup on a wet Indy curve. Trailing 27-17 in the fourth quarter, the Cardinals got back into the race with the help of their own speedster, Roy Green, number 81. Green caught 8 passes for 183 yards and scored 2 late-game touchdowns to pull St. Louis to within 2 points. With only 7 seconds remaining, the Cardinals were waved across the finish line by the checkered flag when Neil O'Donohue connected on a game-winning 46-yard field goal. While the dejected Colts attributed their 34-33 loss to the simple lack of horsepower, down in Tampa Bay, the Motor City's offense showed they had power to burn. The Lions jumped to a 14-0 lead with the help of number 86, Mark Nichols' 77-yard score. Unfortunately for Detroit, they failed to score a touchdown in the second half, while Steve DeBerg, who used to make his living bailing out John Elway in Denver, replaced Jack Thompson and led the Bucs to 3 scores in a 21-17 win. The victory was Tampa Bay's first, while the 1-2 Lions seemed to be suffering from every coach's nightmare, inconsistency. All teams experience inconsistency, but it's the New England Patriots who are the definition of the word. Brilliant week 1 and hapless week 2. Last Sunday, after spotting Seattle a 23-0 lead, New England was in a perfect position to stay true to form. In the second quarter, the inconsistent Patriots replaced their inconsistent starting quarterback, Steve Grogan, with the too young to be inconsistent, Tony Eason. Eason's 25-yard touchdown run launched the greatest comeback in team history. Number 11 led the Patriots to 38 unanswered points and an incredible 38-23 come-from-behind win. While Eason will no doubt be the crowd favorite to become New England's starting quarterback, those finicky Cowboy fans now want their old starting quarterback to start in place of their new starting quarterback. However, against Philadelphia, Gary Hogeboom had no intentions of relinquishing his job. The Cowboy offense showed flashes of brilliance, while the questionable Eagle offense was simply granted occasional good fortune. Philadelphia kept the game relatively close until Dallas did what they do best, put the game out of reach with a little razzle-dazzle. When receiver Mike Renfro hooked up with receiver Doug Donnelly, the Eagles' line went dead, and the Cowboys had rung up a 23-17 win. As the squadrons of San Diego's Air Coryell took to the field last Sunday, the purpose of their mission was clear. They were there to answer the call to glory by helping Don Coryell become the first head coach to amass 100 victories in both the college and pro ranks. Only winless Houston stood in their way, and for a few shining moments, the Oilers did manage to steal some of the Chargers' thunder. Warren Moon's 75-yard touchdown strike to wide receiver Tim Smith, number 83, was the only battle cry that issued forth from Houston all afternoon. For throughout the day, Charger quarterback Dan Fouts had history and this game well in sight. Fouts hit on 26 of 37 passes, engineering a ball control offense that set up 3 short touchdown runs by second-year running back Ernest Jackson, number 41. The Chargers ultimately prevailed 31-14. As any player will attest, the transition from the college to pro game can be difficult. And while Don Coryell reached a milestone that further stamped him as a success in both, Denver quarterback John Elway continued to make giant strides in his march toward that same goal. Elway's performance against the Browns may not have been as stylish as this Butch Johnson catch, but with his shoulders still badly bruised from his beating by the Bears, Elway showed what he was made of by being good enough to just get the job done. This 23-yard toss to wide receiver Clint Sampson, number 84, was part of a 17-point second quarter Broncos surge that erased the Browns' early 14-point lead. But it was also an opportunistic Denver defense that rose to the occasion, as they shut out the Browns in the second half while intercepting Cleveland quarterback Paul McDonald 3 times. And most damaging theft came in the game's final minute, just when the Browns appeared to be driving for a possible game-tying field goal. Rookie cornerback Randy Robbins, number 48, picked off the first pass of his career and returned it 62 yards for a touchdown that sealed the Broncos' 24-14 victory. The win was Denver's second in 3 games, keeping them in pace with a highly competitive AFC West. The loss dropped Cleveland to 0-3, giving them their worst start in 9 years. With their white shoes, the Minnesota Vikings are sporting a new look these days. But along with their orderly attention during the national anthem, one tradition that new coach Les Steckel is trying not to change is their long-standing habit of winning. In an effort to secure his first victory, Steckel continued to pull out all stops against Atlanta. The option pass had worked successfully a week before in Philadelphia. It was obvious that even with their Marine drill instruction, this is one play the Vikings have not practiced enough. While the Vikings were failing with their razzle-dazzle, Falcon quarterback Steve Bartkowski was finding success with a more straightforward style of play. Bartkowski's 57-yard touchdown pass to number 82 Stacey Bailey tied this seesaw battle for the 3rd time at 13-all. But in the tradition of if at first you don't succeed, try again, the Vikings finally managed to break the game wide open. For the second time in 2 weeks, rookie running back Alfred Anderson clicked on the option pass, hitting wide receiver Dwight Collins, number 84. Taking a cue from Anderson, Viking quarterback Tommy Kramer got his game into gear, throwing for 2 touchdowns and a 21-point third-quarter explosion that led to Minnesota's 27-20 victory. The victory had an added historical importance for Minnesota as it marked Les Steckel's first win as their head coach. And although it remains uncertain whether Steckel will go on to recapture the glory of the Vikings past, he can at least say that on this Sunday in September, his team did indeed answer his call. The heart, the soul, and the legs of the Los Angeles Rams offense belong to running back Eric Dickerson. But on Sunday, his body belonged to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Since Dickerson accounts for the bulk of the Rams' offense, it figures that if you stop him, you stop L.A. The Steelers did just that, limiting number 29 to just 49 yards on 23 carries. Ram quarterback Vince Ferragamo felt the heat of the Pittsburgh defense as well. Steeler cornerback Sam Washington returned Ferragamo's errant pass for the go-ahead touchdown that added insult to injury when Ferragamo left the game with a broken finger. His replacement, Jeff Kemp, fared somewhat better. Skilled at avoiding the Steeler blitz, Kemp was able to unload a 57-yard scoring pass to Drew Hill to bring the Rams to within 3 points. It was as close as Los Angeles would get as Pittsburgh quarterback David Woodley sought out an early favorite for Rookie of the Year, wide receiver Louis Lips, number 83. Lips was loose all day, and his final period touchdown was his 4th in 3 games. It was also the game-clinching touchdown as the Steelers won their 2nd of the year, 24-14. The Cincinnati Bengals were poised to win their 1st of the season when quarterback Ken Anderson hit tight end M.L. Harris with an 80-yard touchdown pass 18 seconds into the second half. The score put the Bengals ahead 16-13, and the winless Cats looked like they had a few lives left after all. Then the roof fell in. Compliments of Jet defensive end Mark Gastineau, number 99. Gastineau led a New York surge that sacked Anderson 5 times and helped force 4 interceptions. For number 99, the sack dance is a thing of the past. No flaunting, no taunting, just a slip of the tongue. New York bounced back with 30 second-half points as Jet quarterback Pat Ryan enjoyed the most effective and efficient game of his career. His scoring pass to tight end Mickey Schuler gave the Jets a lead they never relinquished, thanks to a running attack powered by Freeman McNeil, number 24. McNeil's 150 yards on the ground accounted for 2 touchdowns, while insurance was provided by Bruce Harper, number 42, who added 6 more points in the final period to end the rout of the still winless Bengals 43-23. Not since 1968, when Richard Nixon was campaigning for his first term as president, have the New York Giants won their first 2 games. Now, if they can only avoid a similar fall from grace. And it looked like the New Yorkers were itching to make it 3 in a row when quarterback Phil Simms spotted Bobby Johnson with a 29-yard touchdown pass to put the Giants on top by a point in the 3rd period. Then something unusual happened. After giving up over 35 points in each of their last 3 games, the Redskin defense came out of hibernation. Charles Mann and Dexter Manley led the charge against Phil Simms. Simms had not had a pass intercepted this season, but then again, Simms never had to face cornerback Vernon Dean, number 32. Starting his first game of the season, Dean picked off 3 Simms passes. One of them ended in a 36-yard touchdown that may mark the turning point in the Redskins season. Dean's heads-up play was contagious. The Redskin defense was not fooled by a New York reverse. They combined to force a loose ball that safety Curtis Jordan returned 29 yards for the touchdown that settled the affair 30-14. Since the balance of power in the NFC East has been drastically reversed in the early going, this could be the start of the swing back to more normal times. San Francisco fans would be well advised to leave the toddlers at home because lately 49er football has been too intense for young children. The Niners have developed a frightening penchant for blowing huge leads, and the trend continued against New Orleans last week. But the 49ers began the game as easily as stealing candy from a baby. San Francisco swiped 3 Richard Todd passes and capitalized on 2 of the thefts by driving for scores, including a Joe Montana touchdown toss to Freddie Solomon, number 88. But the 49ers' 17-0 lead began to evaporate when crafty old Ken Stabler replaced the ineffective Todd. Stabler's scoring throws to Eugene Goodlow, number 88, and Hobie Brenner demonstrated that the Snake can still pick apart a defense as deftly as he did during his salad days. The Saints went ahead 20-17, but the Snake was eventually defanged by the likes of Jim Stuckey, number 79. Thus, the heroic storybook tale of a backup quarterback coming off the bench to lead his team to victory was to be written not by Stabler, but by 49ers sub Matt Cavanaugh, who replaced an ailing Joe Montana in the 4th quarter and directed San Francisco to a 30-20 win. The 49ers record now stands at 3-0, but the harrowing method by which they remained undefeated has no doubt caused more than a few fans to wet their diapers. The likewise undefeated Chicago Bears came into Green Bay with the NFL's top-ranked defense and set the tone for a typically rugged NFC Central Division contest. When it was all over, the Packers had more bumps and bruises than the Bears, but not as many points, as Chicago won 9-7. So far this season, the Los Angeles Raiders have resembled mere shadows of their former world champion selves during the first half of play in each of their 1984 outings. Last week in Kansas City, Jim Plunkett might have been better off hiding in the shadows as an aggressive Chiefs defense sacked him twice and intercepted 3 of his passes in the initial 2 periods. Old Pro Plunkett was definitely in a daze, and the hungry young Kansas City secondary was eager to take advantage of his confusion. Number 20, Deron Cherry, was responsible for 2 steals, but the man who did the most damage to Los Angeles was a youngster named Kevin Ross. Number 31, Ross is an unheralded rookie who earned a starting role during the preseason, and he took his first ever pro interception 71 yards for a touchdown that helped Kansas City to a 13-3 halftime lead. But after the intermission, the Raiders emerged from the netherworld of a lackluster first half and displayed their world champion form. Plunkett's third quarter connection with Todd Christensen, number 46, accounted for his only scoring pass of the day. But the most important pass he threw in the contest came with a little over a minute left to play, and the Raiders trailing 20-19. Number 80, Malcolm Barnwell's 42-yard reception enabled Matt Barr to kick the Raiders to a 22-20 win. After 3 victories, Los Angeles has outscored opponents 74-14 in the second half, and those foes remaining on their schedule can only shudder at the prospect of what will happen when the Raiders string 4 strong quarters together in a single game, that is.